I'm picking up something on the satellite. Give me a sec, I'm gonna tune in. Sir, I'm having a little interference. I'm checking it out right now. Hold on. I think we found him. Here we go.
You are listening to Wide Range Media Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to a new episode of Wide Range Media live on YouTube. I'm your host, Alex Figueroa, and my co-hosts are...
I'm Pablo.
And our special guest...
Silvio.
Oh, anyway, our special guest, because Ralph is not here. He's away with his family for Thanksgiving. We have Pablo's older brother, Silvio Lafrosia.
Yay.
Hey, guys.
What's up, buddy? If this is the first time you're listening and joining the conversation, thanks for coming. Wide Range Media is produced every week for your enjoyments, and show notes are found at widerangemediapodcast.com. So let's get into announcements.
This week on announcements.
All right, you guys got anything to announce? Anything?
Oh,
Pablo, your recording studio. That's an announcement.
okay. Well, it's local, but
Hey, still.
yeah. I mean, that's what we've been doing. Is just have a recording studio, and I've been pretty busy this week, just recording every night. Getting home really late from recording, but it's been a lot of fun. And check out the website. It's lasrecordings.com. You can check out the stuff that I've done there, and that's about it. As far as announcements, and just happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
And also, my friend sent me a text because he runs a gaming night on Monday. So I'm going to read his promo for the show for you guys. Monday nights are game nights, and you can win cash prizes and more for tournament participants. Monday nights at Johnny Utah at New York City. Visit our website at www.g-room.net and go to facebook.com/the33lounge. So again, that's game night Monday nights at Johnny Utah's. Now let's get into discussions at the movies.
This week on Discussions at the Movies.
So Pablo, you have the first article. You go, sir.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Walking Dead.
Okay.
And this article comes from Deadline.com, and the headline reads: "The Walking Dead ratings fall to lowest results since 2011." Okay, I'm just gonna skip.
Season 2?
I'm sorry.
That's season 2?
See, that's season 2. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Let me skip around a little bit here on the article, not just read some of the some of the clips here. First, it says that the rising Sunday Night Football and the American Music Awards on NBC and ABC pretty much heard this week's episode of The Walking Dead. So it fell to a 6-year ratings low for the series based on Robert Kirkman's comics. It got a 3.4 ratings. It had the worst results since November 20th, 2011, and that was season 2 Secrets episode, which only drew 3.1 ratings. So on that note, I've been watching
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, yes. And I think for those that follow the show, that follow our show, rather, not Walking Dead, that follow our show, know how I feel about this.
Okay.
And know that I've been a big fan of Walking Dead. I've been a big fan of the comics. Actually, my brother was the one who turned me into the comics. He was the one who pretty much found it first, because when Walking Dead came out, and when we're talking about comics here, it wasn't like a big thing, right? It wasn't like this huge thing. Like, it wasn't like Michael Bendis putting out the next Marvel series or anything like that. It was Robert Kirkman, who was pretty much an unknown on Image Comics. It was a black and white.
Was pretty much new.
It was pretty much new, and so it came out very, the comic came out kind of like very low key, very like under the radar, and then it became this, this huge hit.
Phenomenon.
Yeah. And then it translated over to the television show, and that became a monster hit. So I've been a fan since day one, and I go on record saying that season 1 till this day is by far the best season, and I think that has a lot to do with showrunner and creator. But anyway, long story short, I've been watching this since day one, and the last two seasons it has fallen off completely. It's just a terrible show. And I know Ralph loves the show, and we go back and forth. I did give the show praise last week's episode. I thought it was actually a very good episode. But then this week's episode, yeah, that's the problem with Walking Dead. Like the season, for the most part, it's bad, but then they sprinkle a few good episodes here and there.
And they'll finish off strong at the midway finale.
Yes,
and try and hook everybody back in for the second part of the season.
Yeah, I think people got tired of falling for the bait. You know, they're just done. And it's been a season already, and I think people are done, and it's showing. We see in the ratings. The ratings are down. People are leaving the show because there's just so much good content, television content out there, that I think this is going to be the beginning of the end for The Walking Dead.
And I'm also hearing online other people saying things like zombies are done. You know, they're overdone. And I think part of the reason is that The Walking Dead portrayed them so simplistically. And what I want to say by that is this is supposed to be something that caused an apocalypse, overrunning militaries of major countries. And when we see them on TV now, they're getting pushed aside with one hand. You can crawl away from them. Oh, well, where's this devastating, horde of undead that can actually take down, the whole structure of a country, kill out the military, the police with all these weapons. And now we're in this situation. They just, they took away the danger of what the zombie actually was as part of it.
Totally agree.
Just to go into this weird narrative of these survivors without saying, okay, look, these guys are really this dangerous. Let's do it right. It's just so stupid. Supposedly, like I was just saying, you can push them aside with one hand. We saw that in the previous episode when Ezekiel's being carried by the big guy with the axe, and he just pushes one aside, and they're crawling away. And then these battle-hardened survivors get overrun by 3 or 4 zombies, and they get bitten up, and nobody pushed them aside. It doesn't make sense.
And the same thing happened again.
Sloppy writing.
Yeah, the same thing happened again this week. They're surrounded by zombies. They're pretty much, they're pretty much done for. They cut scene, and the next scene, they somehow miraculously made it out alive.
Yeah. And I had gotten to the point where I was watching the show in an upset fashion, but it was still kind of okay until the whole Glenn thing happened with the dumpster, and that's when I said, "No, that's it." That what they did there just to fit the narrative was stupid, so stupid. I said, "No, I'm done." Yeah, but I'm still hate watching it.
Yeah, it's funny because that was the beginning and the end for myself.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people.
Yeah, for me, it was from there. And then the minute Negan did the whole thing with Abraham and Glenn, that's when I just shut everything off. I was like, I'm pretty much done with this show. It was like, normally I don't finish shows like that, but that show I couldn't go because every week I was just getting annoyed, and it's like an hour of lost life. I was like, I could just put that to some other show.
That is true. We're investing a lot of time in these television series that if the content is not good, we're going to go elsewhere.
Right.
Some David Rollo said, "What happens in a few days?" I don't know if that's a Walking Dead term.
Yeah, is that related to Walking Dead? I don't know.
Is that like a comic book name?
I think in a few. Oh, it could be the name of maybe a story arc in the comics, because I stopped reading the comics also after the big battle. I don't know if Nick is still in the live chat. He's a big comic book Walking Dead fan too. Maybe
what happens? Well, it's spoilers. If I can tell you, I'm up to date with the comic books. I think
but maybe not spoilers, but maybe a
they said
of what's going on.
Well, eventually after the war, there's a time jump, and they move it forward a little bit, and then they end up meeting some other bad guys who are called the Whisperers. And again, there's some fights with them and all of that, and I won't pinpoint any little things because that would be spoilerish.
Okay.
But yeah, and a few more major characters in the comic book die later on. Actually, some pretty big characters.
Okay. How is the comics? The comics were
It's a little up and down, but it's stronger than what's on TV.
okay.
All right, that's Walking Dead. I can't help you because I stopped watching it, but that's Walking Dead. But now you want to get into Justice League? Let's get into the Justice League.
Well, let's get into what we've been watching.
Okay, let's get into it. Yeah, because Justice League is the whole show.
Yeah.
So all right, so let's do that. Well, you watched The Walking Dead, right?
Yes, that was what I saw this week.
All right.
I didn't see much else, but tomorrow I'm going to go see Coco.
Okay.
Oh, excellent.
Our annual family Thanksgiving tradition. We do this every year. We watch the parade. We get up early to watch the parade on TV, and then afterwards we go to the movies. We've been doing it for many years now. And tomorrow is Coco. And on a side, and I'll talk about next week my non-spoiler review of Coco. But let me tell you, I love Pixar. I look forward to seeing Pixar movies. I didn't see Moana last year in the movie theater because we decided to see Fantastic Beasts. That was the Thanksgiving movie last year.
Which one?
Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, the Harry Potter
Wasn't good.
spinoff. I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay. Anyway, but as far as Pixar, and then this summer was Cars 3, and I kind of skipped that also. Although last week I talked about that we saw it on video. But all that to say, big Pixar fan, and this is the first time in a long time that I'm so looking forward to seeing a Pixar movie and to seeing this one. Especially as a Latino who and it's gonna evolve the whole Hispanic culture.
That's you going with the race card because you're Latino?
No, it's not a race card.
You just said it right.
No, I'm not. I'm saying I'm looking forward to it because it'll be something that I'll be able to relate better.
Oh, because you're Mexican.
No, I'm not Mexican.
I'm just joking.
Oh man.
I just playing with
Is there a way to edit this live stream?
No, it just sounded funny because you're like, because I'm Latino.
But I didn't say
We
like
are.
that.
We're from Latin America.
Oh, I'm Latin American too.
Yeah, you too. I mean,
I'm not gonna
So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. And the reviews have been coming out, and they're saying it's amazing. Amazing story.
And another thing, Pablo, not just as Latino, you as a guitarist.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw, they were talking about that they paid very close attention, that the musicians that played kind of like that, what do they call that, that camera work that they use like for Planet of the Apes where there's motion.
Oh, motion caption?
Yeah, that's it, motion capture. Well, the chords and the fingering of the guitar, they say it's spot on. It's very good. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Do you know what my pet peeve is as a musician, artist, and guitar player? My pet peeve is whenever I see either a movie or a television show in which someone is playing the guitar,
and it does not match.
The first thing I do is, can they really play? And are they really playing? And when they try to fake it, it just takes me out of the whole experience. It gets me so upset. So when I saw the preview to this, and they do the close-up of the kid playing guitar, or I think the idol that he looks up to,
his grandfather.
I don't know if it's grandfather or not. But
yeah, it's his grandfather.
And they do a close-up of him playing. Of course, the first thing I did was I focused on that, and imagine he was playing. He was making an A minor chord, and you see him. And I was like, "Hey, all right, I'm in."
It's Julio Feliciano playing him, right?
Yeah. They have a whole Latino cast doing the voiceovers and everything. Yeah, so I am so looking forward to this.
That's good. This week I watched all the DC shows. I had to catch up. It's been a while with preparing for the podcast and all that stuff. So I have to put stuff on the back burner. But let me tell you, certain shows are actually pretty good than the others. Like for me, Supergirl has been really good. Like actually pretty good. I don't know why I'm saying this, but Supergirl's been really, really, really good. Gotham became really good overnight. For some reason, when they added the gore factor, I was like, whoa, Gotham has been good again. And they went away from the whole Bruce Wayne being Batman, and they concentrating more on Jim Gordon. It's been good. The Legends of Tomorrow still sucks. Nothing new with that. Arrow and Flash is here and there. Sometimes it bounces back and forth for me in those shows. But I'm very surprised with the Supergirl being really good. After the switch going from channel 2 to channel 11, which it should have went, season 1 should have went to channel 11, but that's a whole different debate.
CW.
Yeah, CW.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's what I watched. Silvio, what you got?
Well, the title of your podcast is Wide Range Media, so I'm going to go really wide to some stuff that you guys probably haven't been watching recently. My wife and I, we've gotten into a lot of period piece TV shows and dramas, so we've been watching Outlander, catching up with that. Masterpiece Theater has something from the BBC called Poldark, which is also another period piece. Very well produced shows. Pablo was just talking about pet peeves. One of mine is when something is a period piece and they don't pay attention to the details. That takes me right out of it. And these shows are very good at working on the details. We're enjoying them a lot. We finished watching Black Sails, which was a pirate. Season 2 and 3 were very, very good. You had to get by season 1 a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I stopped season 1. I was like, I can't. I was like, I love pirates, but I was like, I can't go through this.
Yeah, it got much, much better in season 2 and 3.
And Sherlock, I watched from the BBC.
Yeah, I haven't watched Sherlock. I think I saw like 2 episodes. My daughter sat me down to watch it, but I haven't watched a lot of that.
Those were good. And then the Gillian Anderson, The Fall, that's a really good show. That's a really good. Okay. It's a criminal like drama, and it stars Dana Scully, which is Gillian Anderson. It's a really good show.
What's the name of the show again?
The Fall. It's on Netflix. They have the first 2 seasons. It's a really good show. It's a BBC show, so you get to see all the stuff, which I kind of like with BBC. But yeah, but go ahead. So you like all that 19, like that whole Jack the Ripper period?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I like that. I like those old periods.
And to continue casting wide range, I've been watching a lot of old comedies, a lot of old George Carlin stand-up shows from the HBO time. There's a lot of them on Amazon Prime. Okay. And I always like George Carlin.
Oh, nice. All right, so then that's it. All right, so let's go right into the Justice League, because that's what everybody it's here to watch.
All right.
Here we go. So the Justice League came out this week. Okay.
It did?
Yeah, it came out this week.
Very little fanfare.
But it came to a flopping 96 million.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's bad. And one thing I want to talk about before we go into spoilers into anything, my thing is it fatigue of superhero movies that hurt Justice League? Because Thor came out the following week.
So 2 weeks before.
I mean, 2 weeks before. So technically, you get kind of like, I don't want to go see, like, I don't know if it's superhero fatigue or the fact that the reviews before the movie came out was so horrible that people were like, all right, we're not going to go watch it to the theater. Because
I think that second point that you made, Alex, is really it, because Thor had a lot of buzz coming out about it, saying it was so different, it was so much fun. I knew going into it that it was going to be extremely funny, maybe over the top funny, but bringing it back to what it is, a comic book on the big screen. But Justice League, they had a gag order on all reviews until 24 hours before release. That's never good.
No, it's not good. And then the fact that, Rotten Tomatoes decided to hold the score, depending on what reason, why, whatsoever, I have a feeling that made another big difference on people. Well, again, why do people want to look at numbers before they go to the theater? It boggles my mind. But yes, that's one reason, I guess. Second, Nick is right. That trailer for the Justice League was god awful.
I agree.
And the only trailer out of all 6 of them, I believe, that came out was the second one. That it was more serious Justice League, but then after that, it just went into complete kaput.
Yeah.
And then they kept showing more Aquaman saying his stupid jokes, and then it was just like, whoa. But in terms of, did it hurt? Yes, I think it did hurt. And it's not, I mean, we could go to the reviews, but we're not going to go crazy. But to me, the movie was enjoyable. It was an enjoyable movie. I sat there. My wife loved it. I enjoyed it. And I was like, you know what? Out of all the DC movies that they came out with, which was four of them, Wonder Woman, this is not that bad from where all the reviews and these number scores were coming from at all.
Was it better than Wonder Woman?
Well, I wasn't too big with Wonder Woman.
No.
So, I mean, Pablo loved Wonder Woman. I didn't like Wonder Woman at all.
I enjoyed Wonder Woman a lot.
Yeah, I wasn't too thrilled with Wonder Woman. But I enjoyed Justice League better than Wonder Woman. If you ask me, I enjoyed Justice League better than Wonder Woman. But then again, I liked Spider-Man Homecoming over Wonder Woman for that 2017 year. But in terms of Justice League itself, I didn't see no problems with it. Aquaman was okay. The Flash was annoying, but he was okay. Cyborg, for me, was like the big dude of the movie. I thought he was great as Cyborg, Ray Fisher. Ben Affleck is Ben Affleck, and then Henry Cavill is Henry Cavill. But honestly, I don't see what the big hype is. And then again, if you guys read the Rebirth series and you go to this movie, then you enjoy the movie. If you haven't read the Rebirth, you're going to get all the criticism that everyone is reading. A horrible masterpiece. That's what one of my friends said. Horrible masterpiece.
What about the poor CGI villain?
Those were all horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
I mean, you get, 5 superheroes of top caliber name from the DC universe. I mean, you better put a villain there that's worthwhile. And they didn't do a good job with that.
No, they did not. And one thing me and Pablo agreed on was, if you're going to put a villain in, at least put a villain in with practical effects. I mean, you could have did you could have did Steppenwolf. I mean, there was no reason that you couldn't get the actor. Yeah, that guy. You could have got put him in the suit, throw a little makeup on the guy, and put him behind a green screen, because you did it to all of them. Yeah. I mean, half of the whole movie they were behind a green screen. So I couldn't see what. Yeah, Cyborg was in a green suit. The ending battle was behind a big giant green screen, so I can't see why the villain couldn't do the same route. But it looked horrible. I mean, even Henry Cavill's mustache was horrible.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, it was. It's noticeable.
Well, but see, that's the thing that's interesting, Alex, because you're saying that you enjoyed it, but you just mentioned 2 very major components of the film as horrible.
But when
you get by it.
No, yeah, you know what, with the movie, because one thing that when me and Pablo was talking about, one thing with this film does that the other DC movies don't, besides Wonder Woman, you enjoy the character getting together. Like, why they get together, you enjoy it. Other than that, you forget the villain. And I'm not even lying to you. You see him in one scene, and all of a sudden you don't even care, because everyone is interacting so well. The chemistry is there. And then at the end, you go, oh, okay, that's right. I got to fight this guy. You just like, oh, all right, it makes sense. But honestly, the movie was, to me, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I hope it turns around. But again, Henry Cavill's contracted to one more Superman, and he said the future is still up in the air. So that could be that he's gone. He could go kaput. What's the deal with Henry Cavill's mustache? Well, Henry Cavill's mustache was from Mission Impossible 6. I don't know if you read the whole thing. Mission Impossible 6, and he had to do the reshoots because of Josh Whedon getting called in. And Warner Brothers asked to shave it off, and Paramount said no. So he had to redo the scenes into Superman suit with the mustache. And that cost them roughly $25 million to remove that mustache.
Wow.
And it was a horrible $25 million. I'll tell you, that's horrible. It looked really bad. If you want me to break down the numbers before Pablo said his thing, because he's quiet over there.
No, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you to finish your thing, and then I'll.
This is how much it costs. The movie cost $300 million due to reshoots, and an additional $150 million for marketing. That's a total of $450 million spent on the movie. An additional of global home entertainment costs of $60 million, talent, guide, residents of $20 million, meaning the locations, interest expenses of $20 million, final talent costs to cover the cast, crew, and producers $50 million. Final cost of $600 million. It costs to make that movie.
$600 million.
Yeah.
Well,
It's 300, but you got to come to a fact of everything together.
Usually, what the rule of thumb is, you double the production costs,
That's
and that's how much the movie costs in marketing, advertising. So if the movie in this movie costs 300, that's the
Well, to shoot is 300.
well, and reshoots.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
300.
Everything is 300, but when you put the whole total of everything together, paying the actors and going to locations, that's 600 million.
Yeah, no, you're right, and that's why when we started this conversation and you said that the movie only made 96 million
Opening, yeah.
I mean, for the average person that really doesn't follow box office numbers, they would say, "Wait, that's amazing. That's a lot of money."
Yeah.
Right. When you compare it to the number 2 movie this week that came out, which is Wonder, which made 24 million, and that is considered a huge success. So you're like, wait a minute, when Justice League made 96 million and it's a failure, how can this other movie make? Well, that's because of that. You have to take into account the budget. And let's just say that this movie costs a modest $150 million to make, right? That's how much Wonder Woman costs. Okay. And with production, and then with marketing and advertisement, you kind of double that. So a total of 300. If that's how much this movie cost, then 96 million wouldn't be that horrible. Because at the end of the run, it might have a maybe $750 million run at the end of the day. So that's good. But this is what, and allow me to get into my thing here. And I was thinking about this, like, how am I going to talk about this? Why this movie failed? Why this movie bombed? Why this movie may cost Warner Brothers $100 million? Like, they might lose $100 million in this movie. So I was saying, what is it, right? And my brother's.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Just off camera.
He disappeared.
Okay. He disappeared. Okay, so I was thinking, I was like, how can I present this? And here's what I'm going to say. And Nick said it in the live chat. Mustache Gate. That was the problem with this movie. And it sounds funny, but let me elaborate. Okay. Why did Justice League fail? Mustache Gate. Right? And everybody's probably saying, well, that's dumb. That was just a little part of the movie. But that's my point. Why this movie failed. Because Warner Brothers had so many problems with this movie going in that if you want to just pick one thing, why it failed, it's because of that silliness like that. I mean, what other movie do we know? A movie that was 5 years in the making, right? Because really, I mean, when the whole DCEU started and Warner Brothers got together and said, we want to compete with Marvel. We want to make our own Avengers. Our own Avengers is Justice League. We have 5 years. We're going to do these movies. We're going to put them out to lead into Justice League. Justice League should have been a huge, major success for Warner Brothers. And they have 5 years in the making preparing for it. But why did it fail? Because all this stuff that happened. Zack Snyder leaving, and I know it's because there was a tragedy involved. Okay, for him leaving, I understand that. But a lot of it had, but he was also quote unquote forced out. Warner Brothers wanted to get rid of him after the debacle of Batman v Superman. They wanted to get rid of him. So they always and Josh Whedon came on board before Zack Snyder walked away. So all these reshoots, all these problems, all this nonsense with the Zack Snyder cut, Josh Whedon cut, Mustache Gate, all this led to this perfect storm of failure. And that is why Justice League failed.
I kind of agree with you, what you're saying.
All right, but hold on. Let me finish and then I'll throw it back to you. Okay? Because I do want to give my review. Because we said, why did this movie fail? And you made a point of it. Well, the movie was good. You enjoyed it. Why did it fail? And I think it failed because of that. All those things leading up to this, it turned people away. Even the casual fans, because that's what Warner Brother needs to get. They need to get the casual fan, not the diehard DC fans. They're going to be there no matter what. And they were there. But the casual fans is what needs to be there. And they didn't go there. I mean, you have a Justice League movie. And the casual fans, when they think of Justice League, what are the superheroes they think of?
Superman and Batman.
Yeah. Was Superman in the poster? No. Because they decided to kill him off in the last movie. So things like that is why people didn't go to the movies to see this. And that is why this movie failed. With that said, I really enjoyed the movie with all its flaws. And man, it had a lot of flaws.
Oh no, yeah, it was it was mucho flaws.
But why did I enjoy this movie? I enjoyed this movie because why do we go to the movies? We go to the movies because we want to experience it. We want to experience it with other people. We want to be there when everyone is clapping, everyone is cheering, everyone is laughing. And that's what happened. And that's why I enjoy this movie, because the movie was packed. People were clapping. People were laughing. It is funny. It's a funny movie. There's a lot of good jokes. A few of them do not land, but most of them do. And people were clapping. People were cheering. And that made it fun. And when we did the instant reaction, I said, I love this movie because it was a lot of fun. Now I had a few days, almost a week to think about it. I still enjoyed it, but now I'm beginning to see all of its flaws. And the pacing is horrible. From scene to scene, the times that it doesn't make any sense at all. The villain is it's horrendous. The plot is there is no plot.
Yeah, it's a stupid plot.
Yeah, there really is no plot. And that's the problem with the movie. They have 5 years, half a decade to prepare for this. They have tons of source materials with the comics. I mean, if you read the Justice League comics and the story arcs that they have, it's amazing. They have all this material to draw from, and this is what they put out. That's my problem.
I mean, I agree with you, everything you said 100%. And another thing I was reading up before we did the podcast or whatever was a lot of people was turned off also is the fact that Josh Whedon took over the project. Because they kind of thought they were going to get the Marvel Avengers feel to it, which it did. It did get the there's a lot of feels in there that it was very Marvel-ish. And again, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because I always thought DC should never go down the route of Marvel because it's a different comic compared to those movies. But you could tell certain cuts of the movie where it's Josh Whedon directing and where Zack Snyder's cut of the movie. And that's where, to me, is like certain people got turned off. Like, I mean, and I don't mind it. I mean, if you don't want it, Josh Whedon to touch the movie, whatever. If you don't want to go see it because you think it was very Avengers, hey, I'll tell you what, Justice League was 10 times better than Avengers Age of Ultron. I tell you that right now. I can watch that 100 times than Age of Ultron. But it is what it is. I mean, I know people was like, everyone was gun-ho with Zack Snyder. Oh, he did a bad Batman v Superman. Oh, I want to throw myself off the bridge. But now everyone is crying for the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. So you got to pick up your battles, people. If you want the Zack Snyder cut, then stop complaining about Batman v Superman. Because Batman v Superman wasn't as bad until you watch Justice League. Because a lot of stuff in the movie now makes sense of Batman v Superman.
Yeah, Batman v Superman is so terrible movie.
It's not a terrible movie.
I'm sorry.
It's not a terrible movie.
Come on, me and you agreed at one point. The movie is horrible.
No,
the movie is horrible.
Certain, I mean, now that you see the 3-hour cut, now you kind of understand what Justice League comes from.
Yeah.
And, I mean, yeah, it took him 10 years, but you know what? I think Zack Snyder's cut should have been the movie. I don't think Josh Whedon should have came and touched it at all. To be honest, I bet all those joke scenes were Josh Whedon.
Well, you saying this movie was not a good movie because of
No.
Whedon?
I didn't said
Okay.
I said that. I said a lot of people on the internet got turned away because Josh Whedon took it. They didn't want the Marvelness too.
I don't think they got turned away. They still went to see it. It's after the fact they complained and didn't like the movie because of Josh Whedon. I don't think it turned away. The people that didn't show up to the movies,
It's a casual
didn't
fan.
know. Yeah, they didn't even know about the whole Zack Snyder, Josh Whedon thing. They were turned away because they're casual fans who didn't enjoy the previous movies, and there was no Superman.
No, well, I don't want to spoil it or whatever in terms of Superman.
But
Superman.
everyone knows he's in it.
No, he's in it. No, but I understand what you mean. Like they killed him in the ending of Batman v Superman. If people didn't know that, then
but he's in it.
No, he's in the movie. But
Warner Brothers is doing a new marketing plan this week, and the new posters. You see the new Justice League posters? Superman is in it.
Well.
Well, but anyway, why don't we ask my brother what he thinks of it? You know, as someone who hasn't seen it yet, but seen all the.
What was your reason why you didn't go to the theater to watch it?
Mustache Gate turned me off completely. I kept thinking it would be like Cesar Romero in the old Batman, who would have put white over his mustache because
as the Joker.
As a Joker, yes.
I would pay to see the behind the scenes of him walking around with a little green strip. Right?
It wasn't even green; it was white.
Oh, it was a white strip.
Yeah, it was. His whole face was white, and then he had the red thing going around. So he was. You see this? Yeah, you see this mustache, but you see white because he's a clown. You guys, your brother, right?
Yeah.
It was a white. He was white. Like he didn't want to cut his mustache. He was like, "You're not cutting my famous mustache." And they painted.
You can see it in all the close-ups. It's very funny.
He's still the best Joker, but
yes, absolutely.
He's still a great Joker. Yeah, he had the best laugh. But go ahead. So, what was your reason why not going?
A lot of those things. Early buzz for Thor and Wonder Woman were huge. I think you guys mentioned it once in a podcast before that I heard you say that, we're very selective when it comes to bringing the whole family to see any movie these days. It can become a big expense week after week. If you want to see a lot of these, there's a lot of superhero movies out there, and sometimes we have to be a little selective. The other thing is, I think Warner Brothers is fantastic for shooting themselves in the foot, DC Studios, when they kind of announce, as soon as there's a little hiccup, whether bad reviews or whatever, that, don't worry about it. When you get the Blu-ray, it'll be the 3-hour cut, like they did with Batman v Superman. And so I'm like, well, why the heck would I want to go spend all that money in the theater? Yeah, there's the experience. I understand the experience. But a long time ago, back when I was a kid, you went to see it in the movie theaters because the option of when it came to TV was a completely different experience. We had 13-inch TVs, 19-inch TVs, color TVs. Sometimes we had, 13-inch black and white, and we ended up seeing these movies with very bad resolution. Even when VCRs came out, we get the tape, we put it in, the resolution was poor, and bad audio. It detracted a lot from the movie experience. Nowadays, a big part of the population, the people that enjoy watching something with their family, have large screen TVs, great audio systems, a Blu-ray player. They put that in, and even if it's not 4K, they're getting a very good experience. A lot of people, their family rooms are created into theater rooms, even if they don't go, high with a lot of expensive things. They still manage to make something like that, and it's a lot cheaper to buy the stream from any of the providers or buy the Blu-ray, watch it with the family a few times, then spend the extra money to go to the movie theaters on something that was not said to be top notch. There's a bar that we all kind of look at, and I think that DC Studios, they place their bar very low in accepting, okay, let me bring it down a little lower. 6.5 points of 10-point things of this movie are great. The other ones you're not going to like too much. That's good enough for us. That doesn't make a great movie. And if you're going to experience this, you want to see a great movie. I know they can't all be fantastic, great, over the top, but you can at least get an 8. And a lot of these things that they're putting out are 6.5 or lower. And that's my feeling.
No, I agree with you. One thing on the chat, Nick says, I'm hearing rumors when Warner Brothers is thinking about doing Flashpoint in the Flash movie to restart the DC universe. I think it's already too late for that. I
agree. I wish because Flashpoint is an excellent.
It's an excellent movie. I totally agree with you. I think it's way too late now for the debacle of Justice League. It's going to hurt those movies even worse. The best way to do it is, like I told all my friends, get a 5-year hiatus to stop making superhero movies. Don't do nothing else. Let Marvel take over the movie, whatever. I don't care what they do. Go back in that drawing board and redo everything. Don't waste the Flash. Don't waste Aquaman. I mean, those movies are going to come out regardless. And those
Aquaman's already done.
Yeah, those things are going to flop. Yeah, those things are going to flop. I mean,
Wan.
Yeah, James Wan, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Mm.
We're going to go see it. And then I bet it could be 92% Rotten Tomatoes like Wonder Woman.
But that was the other thing that makes this whole Justice League movie feel rushed is, you know, here you are introducing 3 new characters. They never got their own movie.
No.
Yeah,
right. The Trinity, they should have, you know, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, the Trinity, they should have gotten their own movie. I mean, well, 2 out of 3.
Yeah, you got Superman, Wonder Woman, and no Batman movie.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that they had. I mean, regardless if you want to, I mean, everyone said, oh, but Marvel have a formula. You could copy their formula. I don't care. But you could still do those movies different. And you still be successful. You could have did Superman. You could have did Batman. You could have did a Wonder Woman movie right into Justice League. And that's it. Because you could have did cameos of each other superhero coming together. And that's it. These guys, you could tell that Justice League was so rushed. I'm telling you, it was so rushed. Batman v Superman was a 3-hour graphic novel that was just like, what the hell are you going to give me in Justice League? Then you got Wonder Woman's thing, which, again, it's a good movie, but it was very slow because I didn't know. First of all, the Justice League, I thought it was going to start off from the ending of Wonder Woman, which it didn't. It jumped off right into Gotham City, which I was like, what the hell was the point of Wonder Woman? That's where I got thrown off. Man of Steel was pretty good because it introduced Henry Cavill as Superman. But again, it didn't show nothing to go, oh, Gotham City or no beef with Batman. They showed like Easter eggs. But they didn't give you that universe sharing. Only the names of Wayne Enterprises or whatever. But then once Batman v Superman started, it started off with Ben Affleck landing, and then the whole General Zod versus Superman destroying it, and then he goes into it, which, by the way, was the best scene of Batman v Superman. The whole beginning of the movie. That's it. I was like, okay, these movies didn't continue. It was just another scene starting the movie. And that's where Justice League was so, I didn't know what. I was like, oh my God, he's starting off in Gotham City where Wonder Woman jumped out of the window like, boom.
And then in the middle of all this mess, we had Suicide Squad.
Then you had Suicide Squad was a piece of trash.
Yeah.
Which was / Ghostbusters. I mean, that's what it was. But it was, then you had that, which had nothing to do, which should have been the Flash movie or Cyborg.
Right.
That's what that movie should have been.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Suicide Squad. Why did they?
What a throwaway.
Who thought? Like, what genius at Warner Brothers said, you know what we need before Justice League? A Suicide Squad, where we're not gonna make not one reference of it in the Justice League movie. Because it wasn't.
Nope.
And here's the thing that really got me, you know, the whole thing with Suicide Squad is these should have been the guys that were going after smaller criminals, you know, lesser criminals. Instead, they get this baddie that is about to destroy the earth again. Well, where the hell are the guys from the Justice League?
That's the same thing I said. I was telling my wife in the theater, I was like, where is Batman in all this? Or Superman? I'm like, you mean to tell me those guys were in where was it, in the Fortress of Solitude throwing a party?
Yeah.
Well, wherever.
They get stoned.
Yeah. I was like, come on, man.
So they sent a girl with a bat.
Yeah, pretty much.
It should have been Man of Steel.
Okay, leave it the way it was.
Many people thought it was a good movie.
I liked it. It took a while to get used to it.
I liked it too. Then the next movie should have been a Batman solo movie.
Yes, I agree.
Superman could have had a cameo. I probably wouldn't have him a cameo, but he would still be alive.
Who?
Superman.
Okay.
You had I'm saying you get rid of Batman v Superman, like, you know.
Oh no, yeah.
That should have just been a Batman solo movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then this summer would have had a Wonder Woman solo movie, and then next summer, Justice League.
Yeah.
Boom. That would have been huge.
And you could have introduced Flash and Cyborg and Aquaman in the first 30 minutes of Justice League. Like the way they did it was pretty.
Yeah, but they really didn't have to.
Everyone knows their story.
Yeah,
that's the thing. They changed Barry Allen in this movie.
Warner Brothers screwed this up.
Well, Silvio, you know Flash, right?
Yep.
what's his thing? I want to know what was his background. Like to you, what do you think when you see Barry Allen? What do you think of? Like
I'm not sure.
like for instance, in this movie, he's like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. He's just straight geeky, like blah blah blah.
Well,
like,
he's an ordinary guy. I mean, his origin story, you know how it comes about. And yeah, he's not a geeky teenager kiddie type thing, which is what they tried to portray. And this is just getting it from the trailers. And I think they were just trying to simply match it up to a Spider-Man type of a kid.
There you go.
And they shouldn't have done that because the Flash was a man.
Thank you. And I said it also. My man was an older Flash who was a criminal investigation dude, man. Like this dude was a clown. He's Spider-Man. He's Spider-Man.
Yeah, the thing is that was Zack Snyder's re-envision,
yes,
reimagining of these characters.
No. I agree with you. But this is what I said on my 9 spoiler, that the TV Flash, the TV show CW was more grounded, more drama than the actual movie Flash. He was more clown. He was Spider-Man. He wanted to be there. I was just like, oh my God. I'm like,
let's read a live chat.
Go ahead.
This is from Nick. And Nick, I know him. He's a huge comic book fan.
Okay.
He's a big DC fan who's reading. He's up on all the Justice League, the JLA, Justice Society, like everything that's going on in DC. So he's up with this. He knows what's going on.
Ask Nick.
And he said, well, let me read what he said. And then you can.
Go ahead.
Another mistake Warner Brothers is making is having the Justice League movie eventually lead to a showdown with Darkseid. Thanos and Darkseid are basically the same villain. I think Darkseid should have been the villain.
Yeah, he should have, or not even. He should have been introduced in the other movies as a post-credit scene.
Yeah,
you know, Nick, I want to ask you a question, and you can answer it right on the chat. Would Batman assemble the Justice League? I want to see what he says. Because I still think Batman.
I know you have a big problem with that. Batman put the group together.
Yeah, Batman put the group together, and I have a feeling Batman never put the group together because he didn't want to be part of it. So Nick, please tell me in the chat if he would have. No way. Thank you, Jesus Christ and the Latter-day Saints. I am telling you, there was no way Batman would have did that. He was very Tony Stark's of the Justice League. I'm telling you, he was very Justice League, Tony Stark's Pablo. There was, I mean, of course, I enjoyed the movie. I don't want people to think, oh, you hate it. I enjoyed the movie, but there was a lot of things that Warner Brothers did to this movie that felt very Avengers. I was just like, why did you change these guys' background? And another thing I was reading, that Aquaman got more powerful in the movie than the actual comics. I don't know. Nick is a DC guy, so I want to see what he says about that.
But he worked for me. Aquaman worked for me in the movie.
No, he did, but they said that he was way powerful in the movie than the actual comic books.
Oh.
So if you're going to change his powers in the movie and then from the comics, then there's like, I don't get it.
Then he should have had his own movie first.
Yes, exactly.
What we were getting.
Because I wanted him to talk to like sea animals. Like,
Aquaman could have been Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Batman v Superman could have been a Batman solo movie. And you would have 4 solo movies leading up to Justice League.
Yeah, I honestly, I have a feeling Aquaman, like I said, I was a little bit weirded out because I was like, man, Aquaman is doing a lot of stuff that I never thought he did in the comic books. But I was like, I'm going to let it slide because it's a movie. He goes, I didn't see the movie yet, but Aquaman does have super strength and can control sea life. But that's basically it. Nick, can Aquaman jump like the Hulk, jump from one way to another, like a distance jump? Like, I mean, this dude was jumping like forever. Like, I mean, I want to know if he does that. And
all right, well, let me ask you this: going forward, what do you guys see the DCEU going? Like
flopping.
Well, we know that.
No, I'm just joking.
What do they do from here?
I think Ben Affleck is leaving. I think Henry Cavill's gonna leave unless they give him a big cash up front. Gal Gadot has no other franchise to worry about because she died in Fast and the Furious. So she has Wonder Woman. That's all she has. Ezra Miller, he's doing his own movie, and then Jason Momoa has his own movie coming up. Nick said that no, Aquaman can't jump that far. So
Okay.
guess what? He has those powers in the movie. But Sylvia, what do you think also going forward in the future of DC? Do you think these actors are gonna stay? I think they all go in peace.
Oh, that's one of the things that makes it difficult, is that if you're building a universe and you want to keep them from multiple movies, you got to pay them big or get them as unknowns early on, sign them to that 3-year, 3-movie contract, 4-movie contract before you let go of them. And typically, by the time they're getting to the end of the contract, is when they start doing well, and then you have to, give them a boatload of money to keep them on. So that's one of the challenges. My fear is in the story writing, and in the continuation of the stories, the DC stories and their universe. And it just looks, and I think Justice League showed a little bit of it, that these executives who don't understand the comic book history and the way that all works and meshes together, they're seeing that the Marvel MCU is working very well for them on film. They're trying to catch up, and they're trying to now emulate their characters with Marvel characters. We were just talking about the Flash looking very Peter Parker-ish. You were just talking about the way Batman puts the team together, becomes very Avengerish. And
That's a good point.
I think that DC studio executives are going to end up ruining these things, because DC comic universe and Marvel comic universe are different types of storytelling, and they're superheroes. I'm one of those guys that likes them both, maybe not equally. I like Marvel a little bit more than DC, but I do enjoy reading DC comics. But the movie executives and the way they think, and obviously money and these box office numbers that you were quoting earlier, is going to make things even worse, in that they're going to continue to try and play catch up with Marvel, and they're going to screw it up completely.
I agree with you on that. And one thing that I want to say also, because I know a lot of people were like, oh, dark. It was very dark tone, Batman v Superman, and a lot of people were turned off. The whole Batman killing, which I don't think he did, but that whole dark tone of Batman and Superman dark tone. I think if they would have continued that story, that mannerism of Batman into the Justice League, and Superman has that hope, because he was very hopeful in Justice League. He was very Superman. I think Pablo could agree to that. He was very Supermanish. If Batman was the way he was in Batman v Superman with that group, I think they would have had their own identity. I think the fact is that they're, like you said it right now, that they're trying to catch up to the Marvel movies. They're trying to make it look like a Marvel movie. And I think where Marvel succeeds in is that they dumb down these movies for everybody. You don't need to read the comics to know what's happening in the Marvel movie. Like, I didn't know what Planet Hulk was. I didn't know none of that crap. I don't read that stuff. But you know what? I enjoyed it in Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
I enjoyed it. Why? Because it was a dumbed down thing. It was, oh man, he's in an armor thing. The Hulk, you know what he does already. You don't need to know the backstory of Bruce Banner. You already know what that is. And I think that's where Marvel succeed. They know how to make it family friendly. They know how to dumb down these comic books for everybody in a way that everyone enjoys it. Everyone goes to the theater. Whereas DC is failing is that they're doing story arcs or changing everyone's superpowers to the point that even the fans are like, what are you doing to these people? There was 3 different Batmans. You had Bruce Wayne, Batman v Superman, Batman killing people for one reason. And then you have the Justice League. He did a complete 180. He became the comic relief putting the team together, which never happens in the comic books. Everyone knows he doesn't want to be part of the Justice League. But I think that's the only thing that I'm trying to figure out. They have to figure out a formula that it's very fan friendly, family fun, but DC tone of it, where instead of copying what Marvel is doing, they're 19 films in. You're 4 films in and you're flopping each one you're going. Except Wonder Woman. I got the numbers here. Justice League is at 111 domestically at a $300 million budget. That's horrible. Wonder Woman had 149 million production costs and it ended at 412 million. Suicide Squad, 175 million. It ended domestically at 325 million. Batman v Superman, 250, but production costs. It ended at 330. Man of Steel was at 225 and it ended at 291. Out of all those movies, why is Justice League the one that's the lowest? You understand what I mean? And that's the one that everyone should be happy about. You have all your superheroes there.
Yeah.
It may, you can't tell me it's gonna end with Suicide Squad being the best one between Justice League. You can't tell me that. I will go 300 million times. I keep swiping my card until it passes for the Suicide Squad. You can't do this to me. My wife said also, this is what she said. She said Momoa said in an interview that Snyder wanted Aquaman to be a badass and that he was gonna change things up. I see Zack Snyder. Why do you touch stuff, bro? Don't act. Don't direct no more. Pablo, what are you doing? You look like a sad dude, like in the corner, like Flash.
Like the Ben Affleck interview. Remember?
Yeah, the Ben Affleck. Yeah, that's what you got, man. You look sad.
No, here's the thing, and maybe we can wrap it up with this. And then you guys can quickly tell me what you think.
Okay.
And and we'll compare it to Marvel. And here's the thing with Marvel, where Marvel gets it right. The directors, they give the directors a lot of creative control and give them a chance to really put their vision on screen. And for the most part, almost all the time, it has worked. I think that what Warner Brothers made a mistake in, and again, this I'm not knocking Zack Snyder, but I think they gave Zack Snyder too much control of the DC universe. I think if they would have just given Zack Snyder Man of Steel, and that's it. He was the director of Man of Steel, and he puts it out. Rotten Tomatoes didn't give it a good score, but most people enjoyed it, and then that's it, right? Then the next movie would have been another director who would have given their own vision to it. Let's say a Batman solo movie. I think that would have worked. Then you had David Ayer, who did Suicide Squad. That didn't work. Okay, it didn't work. But one director was given one movie, he's gone. Now you got Patty Jenkins, who did Wonder Woman. And look how great that turned out.
Well, she was the third director in. It's not like she was the number one pick.
All right, but
she
still,
was the third director.
But it's a different director.
No, right, but she was the third pick out of everyone getting the boot. So that means...
But hold on, but let me finish my point. Zack Snyder was given 3 movies. Not just one. He was given 3. And that's where I think it failed. They gave him 3 movies without a proven record. Man of Steel flopped critically. Batman v Superman flopped, and Justice League flopped critically. They're all rotten. Critics hate it. It's not doing well in terms of the reviews. I think that's what happened. They gave him too many. It would have been different directors, but I think now they're going on the right direction, because now you have James Wan doing Aquaman, which I think he's going to do a very good job with it, and you have Matt Reeves doing a Batman movie. I'm sure he's going to do a good job with it. You're bringing back Patty Jenkins for Wonder Woman 2, which I think is a good call, but they did it after they wanted to see how well. If they would have done the same thing with Zack Snyder, I think he wouldn't have come back for Batman v Superman.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think they would have gotten someone else.
Yep.
And he definitely wouldn't have been nowhere near Justice League.
Justice League at all.
Yeah, at all. And you would still have the characters still have their identity, because these different directors would bring their own thing, and they wouldn't match so much like Marvel did. So I think going forward, I think there's hope for the DCEU if they continue that trend. Just give one director, let them give them their visions, and see what they bring. And I think Man of Steel or Henry Cavill should definitely get a next sequel. And don't call it Man of Steel. Call it Superman. And get another director, maybe a young director with great vision. Let him or her bring their vision of Superman to the big screen. And then do a Justice League sequel with another director. And I think you'll see that they're going to turn this thing around. So I have hope for.
You have a lot of hope, bro. Well, the guy that Man of Steel 2, that's what that's the project name. Is Matthew Vaughn, the guy who directed First Class X-Men. That's who they got attached to it.
To do what?
The directing
of Justice League 2?
Man of Steel 2.
Oh, Man of Steel 2?
Yeah, because Henry Cavill's contracted for one more, until
Okay.
his contract is done.
All right.
Ben Affleck is contracted for one more, but I have a feeling he's done.
He's
gone
done now.
Yeah, he's done. He's not coming back as Batman, which it pisses me off because he's the best Bruce Wayne Batman on screen I think I've seen in a long time. I haven't seen a good Bruce Wayne than Batman.
So the guy from First Class is doing the next Man of Steel.
He's attached
That
to
was
it.
good. First Class was good. I really enjoyed that.
I enjoyed. I thought that was the best X-Men that came out recently.
Yeah. Okay,
That was the best
so
one.
yeah, I'm on board with that.
Yeah, as long as he has creative control. Now, if Warner Brothers comes in and does all their, whatever they did with these other movies,
Yeah.
then it doesn't matter who's behind the camera if Marvel's going to keep telling them what to do.
Yeah. And here's the thing that Nick said, and I agree with him. Let Warner Brothers take a really big risk here. Give Kevin Smith a shot at the Flash movie.
Well, in terms of Kevin Smith, look, Kevin Smith did great as Arrow, directing Arrow shows, did the Supergirl show, did the Flash show. He's amazing at it. I think he's a great comic book guy.
Give him, take a risk.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. And he could write scripts, so it's not like he's terrible. And he owns a comic book store right here in Jersey. So I don't understand why you can't give somebody. I mean, they got to learn from Star Wars. Reed Johnson is about to make them billions of dollars with The Last Jedi, and that was his story.
Ryan Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson, that's his story. He's a huge fan of Star Wars, and they gave him a 3-picture deal doing his own Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah,
Give fans that are fans of your property, give them free of reign and let them do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Let them do it. I don't care if, I don't even go into the, like I said, go into the YouTube, use YouTube. Be like, come up with a 1-minute idea for a Batman, whatever. And use that for hope. Because I always said Batman should have had Scarecrow as a movie villain. That was actually good. Because the one that was in The Dark Knight Begins, that was not Scarecrow. That was god awful. But actual Scarecrow, Jonathan Crane, Professor Pig, you could use him as a movie guy. I'm telling you, there's so many ways you could go with Batman villains, but they keep using Joker. Like, stop, Joker. There's Riddler, there's Penguin. Same thing with Superman. How many times does Superman need to fight General Zod? I'm like, he has other idiots to fight. In the Flash, who do you think the Flash is going to fight?
You can fight Brainiac in the next Man of Steel.
Yeah, he could fight Brainiac.
That would be cool.
Like, stop bringing the same villains. Give people new villains. I think that's where Marvel also does good. They have new villains.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when Thanos go on screen. People are going to go crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's so weird with this stuff. Where I think DC needs to open up a DC studio, man. DC Studios. And no one from executives could come in. They don't even have the badge to go in. It's like, I own the company. Like, dude, you can't come in. Like they did to Linkin Park at the American Music Awards. They didn't let them go back into the awards.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Yeah, you saw that. They got the boot and they won the award. That's what you do to DC executives. When they try to go in, you go, sorry, sir, you have no access to this to level 7. This is only creative minds that read comic books. And then you have like a weird password. Like, what issue did Batman die in? And the answer, he goes, sucker, Bruce Wayne didn't die yet. Mix it up a bit.
A trick question.
Yeah, trick question. Did Bruce Wayne ever die in the comics? Or Superman. Did Superman ever die in the comics?
Yeah, he did.
Batman v Superman.
Yeah. Doomsday.
Yeah, Doomsday. Yeah, it's your Doomsday. Get out of here. Go back to your office, you idiot. No, but I don't know. I just think they need to open up stuff like that. I can't see why. But all right, guys, you want to wrap it up here? Sylvia, you want to you doing any other podcasts or anything you want to plug in?
No, you could always read my blog at aboutmenradio.com, where I lend my musings about just about anything. And in Twitter, I can be reached at Coach_Silvio. That's all I got going on right now.
All right, Pablo, you want to plug in your radio thing one more time? I mean, your recording studio?
LASrecording.com. And then you can follow me at Twitter at PJRake. That's PJRAKE. You can follow me there. And that's about it.
All right, guys, if you like it, if you're new here, just hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to us. We do this every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. We pick different topics or movies that are that are taking the airwaves, if you want to say. This week was Justice League. I don't know what next week will bring, but it'll be fun. But
And
yeah,
then Star Wars is coming soon. A big Star Wars special.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. The 40th episode is next week, which we're gonna be doing live. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna have a lot of trivia. We're gonna throw at each other. We should do that. Throw a lot of trivia be back and forth. But anyway, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. I'm your host, Alex Figueroa. You could catch us or send us questions and comments. Email us at widerangepodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at widerangemedia. Until next time, guys, take care.